Okay, so in this next bit, we're going to talk about the new Rise of the Empire playset that got announced. Basically, Disney put out a brand new set of information with information on figures, information on all kinds of bits and pieces, and really just kind of quite surprised. There was no official trailer, but the embargo got lifted on some videos from like Coin Up TV and Family Gamer and Disney Infinity fans from their recent event. So just before E3, another nice sort of flood of information. Did you see this information, Abe?
Which specifically? Because you mentioned like 3 or 4 different ones.
They're right. Or just in general, the official information.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw the official press release. I did get to see a few video gameplays from both, actually from all 3 of those that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, I mean, first impression, especially after seeing gameplay and more description, is I am loving the fact that it's gonna feel and it's gonna play different than Twilight. And the reason why I love that is even though I love the Avengers playset and the Spider-Man playset, they almost felt not identical, but pretty close. Like they were like pretty close cousins. They weren't distant cousins. They were pretty close. So, but anyways, just the information, the way they play, more space battles, in this one, it makes sense because it goes with the story, and obviously in the prequels you had a lot more combat, melee combat. So no, I'm excited for it. Definitely great information given through the videos, as well as like the Coin Op and Family Gamer and Disney Infinity fans. They all showed some really great content, and it just makes me really excited for this one. So, and it appeals to the older fans too, which is awesome. So
yeah, I mean, I think this is a couple of things. I think they're looking at like the reaction to those Marvel playsets was that they were too similar, specifically the Spider-Man and the Avengers one. So they've kind of gone, well, okay, if we're making all these Star Wars playsets, we may need to make them a little bit more different. And just on the amount of gameplay that we saw like on these new playsets, they aren't afraid of putting this information out there. This playset looks like it's ready to roll. They have got a lot of content out there. I can't, the amount of video game footage we've seen of this playset is pretty good. I mean, I can't remember us ever having this much information straight off the bat. I mean, they've actually even got this playset available down at the Walt Disney World Star Wars weekends. They've had people. I know Pirate Steven tweeted saying he'd already played the game and stuff, and it's just like already. This just we only announced a few weeks ago, and already they've got them out in Walt Disney World for people to play.
No, yeah, it just taps into what we've been saying before. I mean, the approach from 2.0, giving out information, to the approach that we have now, it's great. They're definitely putting all this information out there for everybody to not only try out but to see, and obviously, tapping into Rise Against the Empire. It feels like we're gonna have more variety this time around. So let's look at some of these images.
Yeah, so here we have the official press release. So it's being made with Studio Gobo with partnership with Avalanche Software, and it takes in the iconic moments from Star Wars Episode 4 to 6. So you can play as Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Darth Vader. So you're going to be fighting on Tatooine, on foot, on a bantha, take down ATAT waters on this snow speeder of a Hoth, which, quick note on this, the video footage we saw of that on Toybox TV looked amazing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
We're going to talk about that later on. Outmaneuver snow troopers on a speeder bike on Endor, and then epic battles on the Death Star. I think this pretty much falls into the same thing what they did with the Twilight one. There's going to be like 4 different planets that we can run around on.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm just like, I'm a little overwhelmed because not only obviously all the information we're getting, but I also feel like I'm going to be playing like maybe 7 different games now because both of these play sets are different on the Star Wars side. Inside Out is going to be different. I mean, they haven't said anything about Star Wars Awakens except to be very excited. Last Twitch cast they said it's going to be good, and who knows how the Marvel one will turn out.
Well,
and let's not even forget Toy Box Speedway and Toy Box Takeover. So,
but then that slides into this other thing of them. They've announced now that Inside Out and Twilight of the Republic are going to be out at launch.
Right.
This one is coming out, I think, a month after the game comes out. So this isn't going to be available straight away.
Right.
I love this idea. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. I guess the month is the first time I hear that. I mean, but from what I heard JB say, it was going to be somewhere in between fall and the holidays. So hopefully it's a month after, like you said.
Yeah. There's been so much information whizzing around in there. So we've got Han Solo there. These look pretty much pre-rendered. These do not look like...
all of these are just to basically give you like an
teaser.
idea.
Sort of a Chewie there jumping onto one of the little walkers.
That looks so cool. That's the ATST. Yeah.
And then looks like we've got new drones to fight. So they're little space drones from the Hoth. And then we've got Greedo there, who shot first.
I should have.
We've got little Ewok townspeople.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
And it looks like there's quite a few of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There looks like there's at least 7 or 8 different ones. That's good. There's more choices, better. And then we have Hoth with Tom and these snow. What are these ships called? I can't remember. I remember having one of the toys as a kid.
Oh, there's Snow Speed. Actually, you know what? I don't quote me. Yes. I don't
remember. No, trying to remember all these names. And then let's have a quick look here at the figures. So we've got Chewbacca.
I'm excited for him. He looks really awesome.
Yeah, he looks a lot more younger than I'm used to seeing. Looks more Clone Warsy kind of. Darth Vader once again doing the Let It Go pose.
Let it go. That's the Force choke. That's what they said.
There was a picture on Twitter that I saw, and it's like there's this thing of if you actually look at your figures, how many of them have got that kind of.
It's Iron Man, Elsa, and Darth Vader.
Was it Agent P's got it? They're all like one hand out, really.
Well, Agent P is doing a karate chop. Elsa is doing the snow push or thing or whatever. Darth Vader is actually doing the choke hold, and obviously Iron Man is the blaster. So even though you are critiquing the poses, that's exactly what they do in game.
Yeah.
So not in game, in their films. So it makes sense.
They're all supposed to be ready for action. That's the term. They're supposed to be on the shelf, ready to play. That's what it is. So you got Han Solo there, Jeff Bunker.
Oh, but Vanellope doesn't look like she's ready for action. But anyways, go ahead.
Okay, we got Leia as well.
She looks phenomenal. I really like the way she turned out.
Yeah, and then we've also got Luke Skywalker there. He just looks so young and different, doesn't he?
He looks clueless. I'm not gonna lie. He looks like,
what's going on there? We're going out with Goof, right? I mean, that just looks. It's like a cool looking lineup. Again, this is one of those. Like I said, they've shown off quite a lot of footage. I am liking the fact that if they spread out the content a little bit, because I think in 1.0 we had 5 play sets at launch, and the Toy Story 1 came out like 2 months later. Mm-hmm. And then we had all those toy box ones. In 3.0 we had all the free play sets at launch, and then we had 2 toy box game discs, and then we had the last 2 Disney ones come out like a month or 2 months later. And I'm really hoping now, I'm looking at this going, well, if we've got the Disney and the Twilight one at launch, Empire and those toy box game disc expansion, whatever they're calling them, coming out the same time as Empire, that will give us 2 or 3 at the same time. And then Rise Fallings, probably, I'm guessing, just before Christmas, just before the movie drops.
You know, I was thinking Rise would be sometime around there too, but for some reason, and again, we'll get into it a little bit later, but I got the impression from the Game Informer podcast that we might get it before, and then Marvel would be the last one. So I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's cool. But I'm just, in general, just really excited about the Star Wars one. It does seem like there's a real kind of, I think for a lot of sort of, especially people of our age and stuff, we just got, well, it's Star Wars, it's the original one, it should be first. It is Star Wars. But there's so many people I've been sort of reading tweets and sort of messages from on like Facebook and stuff where they don't really know the original classics ones because they're all growing up with Clone Wars on TV and the prequels and stuff. And it is that kind of, there was a real sort of torn, and even sort of Disney have been very open about the fact that they had to put the classic ones in there, and they're aiming them at the parents rather than the kids because they'll get people to play them. And because obviously, I mean, I think kids will still buy them, but I think that, you know, if you put most kids down and give them the choice between the two playsets, they're gonna go towards the rise of the, you know, the twilight of the Republic, because that's the way they're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think it's hard for us, maybe as slightly older ones, of that, you know, we look maybe slightly down on the prequel stuff because that's not what we grew up with. You know, when I was a kid, I had a big box with the Millennium Falcon and the X-Wings and the Rancor and all the different that's what I played with as a kid. So therefore, it's got a much more special place in my heart than Jar Jar Binks.
You know, and you know what's funny with me is like I fall under the category of where I was exposed to both of these basically generations at the same time. I as a little kid was never shown like any of the Star Wars films, and right around before Episode 1 was going to come out, you know, we heard the whole hype. I ended up watching all the originals before I saw them, so it's like I saw them all clustered together.
Yeah,
and I kind of I got the appreciation for the old and the new because obviously the stories. But you know, hey, I mean, everybody has their own section as far as, you know, what time they grew up, and like you said, just like Disney had to think about it. So, you
know, I think as well, like growing up in the 80s, you know, there's a whole different appreciation for it. As you know, it was on TV all the time. You know, I had the videos.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think I was in like 4 when my dad took me to see Return of the Jedi at the cinema. That was, you know, I was at like different age group again. So it's a slightly different one.
And based off of what you're saying, at that time, those movies were like ahead of their time. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that you would never see in the movies, as now and today, you know, you see like fake dinosaurs running around and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But no, it's great that they're tapping into every generation, because like something that I basically definitely got a big glimpse at Star Wars Celebration is there are now 3 generations of Star Wars fans now.
Yeah.
You know, original trilogy, new trilogy, and now obviously this new stage that we're going into. So
no, it's pretty cool. Right. Okay. So now let's bring up our next subject.